Okay, guys, week 6. I'm so excited to talk about social media. I know this is where a ton of people get hung up and get stuck. So, what this week is really about is just to give you my my social media Bible, the way that I've learned works best to interact and engage and actually use social media to build your business instead of just frustrate the crap out of you. So we're going to go through that, and then we're going to go through each of the different platforms, not so that you can get overwhelmed and think you have to do all of them, but so that you can learn kind of the pros and cons of each one and figure out where you are going to get the most bang for your buck, I guess. Not and by buck I mean your time and energy. Like, that's the main thing that I really want to nail home today, is that no matter which platform you use, this is a strategy. Like, social media is a strategy, and you have to put in the work to make any of them work for you. So this is really going to be like an overview of each platform. I'm going to tell you how I use each platform and give you everything you need to know to make a decision about how you want to show up online and where you want to show up and how you're going to use social media to actually help you grow your business and help you bring in more ideal clients and ideal followers. So let's dive in. This is my social media Bible here thing I was talking about. So this paragraph is really important because I hear this crap online right now all the time, specifically like that Facebook groups are dead, or Facebook in general is dead, or you can't do certain things on Instagram, or blah, blah, blah. What I really want to make sure you guys understand going into this is that any of these will work. You can pick any platform you want and you can make it work for you, as long as you're willing to put in the effort and put in the time to figure it out. So I really want to make sure you understand that. Like, if you absolutely hate Facebook, then don't do Facebook. You don't have to. But don't make your decisions because you think it won't work for you, because I'm going to show you how to make any of these work for you, okay? So I really want to make sure you're doing the things that you want to be doing, but also doing them in a way that's really strategic and it's going to help you, because, again, you can make any of them work. You just have to learn how they work. Okay, so these 6 things here are going to apply to all social media. Everything that you do going forward. This is really this is the number one reason for a rule. Like, social media is about being social. You have to engage with other people. And this is the biggest thing that I see all the time that people don't do. And then they get all frustrated and they're like, oh, why is this not working? No one's talking to me. No one's doing anything, that I want them to do. They're not engaging or liking or commenting, or I'm just talking to myself online, or every time I post, I get crickets, stuff like that. If you are not engaging, people are not going to engage with you. Like, that means, from a purely scientific algorithmic standpoint, like whether it's Facebook or Instagram or YouTube or whatever it is, social media platforms want to see you engaging because you're helping them by doing that. So the more that you engage with other people, the more they will show your posts to your audience. So keep that in mind. But then also, just in terms of you get what you put out into it, right? Like, once you get to the level where you have actual followers that who they are, like that show up consistently and stuff, or in other people's Facebook groups, like letting people get to know who you are, they will start to remember you, and they will notice that if you just post things and then run away and never come back and respond or engage with anyone else or engage with them. So really going into social media with an attitude of, I want to build relationships and build connections, not I want to attract my ideal clients so I can sell them something. That's the line between having a successful social media presence that's fun versus having a social media presence that's exhausting and draining, and you're just pissed all the time because no one is listening to you or buying from you. That's the line. Go into it with an attitude of, I'm using this to build relationships and build connections. And then you bring them into your world, whether it's your group or your email list or whatever it is, and then you sell from there. That's where you make the sales once you get the initial connection made. and again, that works on Instagram too. I'm not saying you can't sell anything on social media, but I am saying only selling things on social media doesn't work. So go into it with the mentality of, I want to get to know you. I want to connect with you. I want to build a relationship with my ideal audience. And, again, at the end of the day, like, you're going to get rewarded for that algorithmically also. So be the person that engages, and the platforms themselves will love you and help you out. So the next one is you have to be consistent. Like, consistency is a huge, huge, huge part of social media. Again, for the algorithm stuff, but also for just staying top of mind in your audience's mind, like staying relevant in their world. You guys know how crowded and loud social media platforms are. So the more that you can show up and remind them, hey, I'm over here doing awesome things, come hang out with me, and, encourage them and show up and comment and like and engage on their stuff too, they're going to remember you and they're going to want to come hang out with you. So you get to decide what being consistent looks like for you. But just know that if you're only showing up once a week, then it's not really realistic to expect other people to show up any more than you are and engage with you any more than you're showing up. So, that's so true. Like, even in my Facebook group, when I only show up and do Thirsty Thursday, that's all I do. My group is totally dead the whole rest of the week. Yeah, people come up and watch Thirsty Thursday and engage and talk to me there, but I can't expect other people to show up consistently in my group if I'm not showing up consistently in my group. And that applies to any platform that you're using, whether it's a group or anywhere else. You have to lead the charge here. You have to be consistent, and you have to be engaged if you want other people to be engaged. So again, you get to decide what that is and figure out what your end goal is and go from there. But don't have unrealistic expectations of you're just going to show up and have all this amazing engagement without putting in the work. Again, this is a strategy. You have to do the work to make any of these work for you. So the next one, if you build it, they will come. It's total bullshit again. And this just comes back to that, like, you have to show up and you have to teach people the way that you want them to engage with you, and you have to invite them into your communities and invite them to engage with you. So it drives me freaking nuts when people say, like, well, I'm just talking to myself. I don't have an audience yet. I don't have anyone to talk to. I'm just posting on my page and no one's listening. And it's so much easier for so-and-so because they have a group of 10,000 people that they already have to listen to them. And it just makes me want to, like, punch a wall, because nobody starts out having a Facebook group of 10,000 engaged people. Everyone starts from zero online. And I really, really, really want you guys to understand that everyone starts from zero. If you want to have a big, engaged, awesome Facebook group or an engaged Instagram following, you have to build it, and you have to intentionally build it. You have to put in the work and teach people to engage with you. And that's how you get there. Like, no one has that from day one. I didn't shoot out of my mom's hoo-ha with an engaged Facebook group. No one does. Like, I put in the work. I've showed up and I've given value, and I've, done the things that I needed to do to get people to show up and engage with me. And everybody has to go through these steps. So social media can work really fast in, creating relationships and building your online presence. But at the end of the day, it's also a long game, right? It's about cultivating those relationships, and that does take a little bit of time sometimes. So go into it with this, this is a strategy, this is a tool, this isn't a magic button that I just pop up an Instagram page or a Facebook group and everyone's gonna just come in and it's gonna be magic. Like, you got to do the work. So we'll go through these last three, and then I'm going to show you the different platforms and show you what that looks like. Like, what does that mean to do the work for each platform? So we're going to go through all of that so you can pick the ones that you want to do. And this is really, this is really key here too. Like, you do not need to do all of these. These are work. So if you try to be everywhere and you try to do all of them at once, you're going to get overwhelmed. You're going to be a miserable, grouchy pants, and you're not going to do a very good job on any of them if you try to be everywhere. So just really pick the ones that you are really excited about. Like, I focus on my Facebook group. That's my main social media thing. Everything else comes second. Like, I focus my time and energy and attention onto my Facebook group. Now I'm kind of adding in Instagram, but mostly just with stories. Like, even my Instagram post content is just repurposed from other places. Like, I don't focus time and energy anywhere but my Facebook group, still to this day. So really pick where you want to be, what's exciting for you, where do you want to hang out, what do you want to do, and do that and make it work, and then figure out a way to make the other stuff follow behind it. And I'm going to talk about repurposing content and everything too, but you don't need to be everywhere. You really, really, really don't need to be everywhere. So pick where you want to be. And then you don't need to reinvent the wheel. This comes back to that repurposing. Like, you can use content in different places. You can use the same content in different places. So think about who your ideal clients are. Like, you can have an ideal client, or you can have 5 different ideal clients, and they're all perfect, magical, unicorn, amazing ideal clients. But maybe some of them like to read stuff and they hate videos, or maybe some of them love videos and they ain't gonna read anything. Like, having different or the same content in different formats can only help you, and it's not very much more work, right? Like, and I'm going to get into my strategies that I use at the end of this, but I write an email and then I go live in my Facebook group. It's usually the same topic. Like, it's not that much different, but different people will be drawn to different things. And I get pushback a lot from people on this, that they're like, well, I've already talked about this. I don't have anything else to say. Like, I've already done a video on this, or I've already written an email on that, or I already have blog posts about blah, blah, blah. So what? Say it again. Like, say it a freaking again. Your ideal clients need to hear these things more than one time. Like, your content is good. Just because you've already said it before doesn't make it not good anymore. And keep in mind too, social media is changing all the time. Like, not everybody watches every video that you do. Not everybody reads every email that you send. And you're constantly bringing in new people into your audience. So you have to say things more than once. You have to, use this stuff in different creative ways. That's what social media is. And you have plenty of things to talk about based on the homework that we did last week, like going through your offer. And remember those first 3 questions of like, what do you do? What's the benefit of it? And then what's the benefit of the benefit of it? All of that stuff is content gold. And then you can talk about all of those things in a bajillion different ways too. So really, really keep in mind, like, it is okay. And it is a good thing to talk about things more than once, and talk about them in different ways and different formats and in different places. So awesome. This last one, if you want to sell things, you have to make offers. I've been like beating this over everyone's head in my free Facebook group the last month. Like, if you want to sell things on social media, you have to offer things on social media. Like, at the end of the day, that's what it comes down to. Like, I've had people stumble across me online and go to my website and buy things. I've had that happen a bunch of times, but I'm not going to base my success around that. I'm not going to plan my business around when that magically happens. 99% of the time I make money or I sell something, it's because I say, hey, I have this thing for sale. Do you want it? Okay, so you have to be able to do that. And that doesn't mean that you can't do it in a way that's still valuable. And that doesn't mean that you have to be selling things all the time. But before you get sucked into the mentality of, this is not working, I'm not making any money, I'm just wasting all my time on social media and I'm not getting anything out of it, really go back and do an audit of what you're actually putting on social media and see how many times you're offering things. If you're not ever saying, I have this thing, do you want it? Then it's not fair to say that this is not working, because you don't really know that until you start making offers consistently on social media. And again, it's not just a say it once and call it not working either. Like, you have to do this thing consistently. People need to hear about things more than once. I think the statistic that I hear over and over online is that people need to hear things about like 7 to 10 times before they decide to make a decision to buy the thing. So you have to consistently show up and make offers if you want to sell things. So If you're just starting out and you don't have anything to sell yet, or just your business, if you're not in a place where you're selling things yet, that's totally okay. You can still build those relationships on social media and start this process and really have an engaged audience. And then once you're ready to start selling something, that's only going to help you even more. But at the end of the day, if you want to sell things online, you have to offer things online. So keep this in mind when you go into social media. So let's dig into the platforms next. I just have a page on each of the platforms that are like the main ones for our type of businesses that we have here. Of course, there are more, like I don't really talk about Snapchat. I don't talk about LinkedIn, just because most of us are not in those, that's not effective for our type of business usually. Again, if you can make anything work as long as your ideal clients are there, but I really want to focus on the core ones here. And then I'm going to talk about other ways that you can, use those peripheral platforms if you just like them and direct people back where you want them to go. So Facebook business pages are the first ones I want to talk about. So I get questions about this all the time. Like, I only have, 27 followers on my Facebook business page or whatever it is. But at the end of the day, just knowing Facebook business pages are really, really freaking hard to get engagement on will make you feel so much better. Like, these are not made to be your number one generator of like clients to get clients in. These are really just there to give people something to look at and like show that you're a legitimate business is how I use them. Eventually, like once you do have a ton of followers on there, it does get easier. And then you can do stuff, you can do more stuff there and get more engagement, especially videos. Like you can do videos and that helps it get engagement. There are ways to boost it for sure. But until you have a lot of followers, it's just really, really hard because Facebook as a company, they want you to pay them, right? Like they prioritize paid advertising. So organic reach on random business page posts is really, really low. They just don't show it to a lot of people. So knowing that going in is super helpful so that you don't get like incredibly frustrated and you're like, my content's shitty or no one's listening or no one's talking to me, because in reality, that's probably not the issue. It's probably just, it's a business page and out of your, 79 followers, only 2 people actually saw it. So keep that in mind with business pages. Still though, I would still have one anyway. Like knowing that and knowing that it's really hard, I would still have one anyway. And if you are going to run paid ads at any point, you're going to have a business page anyway if you want to run paid ads. So keep that in mind too. But I really I use this as a landing point. So if people find me online and it shows that I work, at my business page on my profile, they'll go there and they'll click there to learn more. And then I just use it to direct them where I really want to go. So I can show you guys my Facebook page and just show you how I use it to send people where I want them to go. So you can see I have a, this is from what I was selling last week. I need to change it still, but I don't create any content specifically for this page. I just repurpose it from my Instagram or my Facebook group or whatever it is, and use that here. So that way, when people do land here, there's something for them to look at. It shows that I'm a legitimate business, and it's not like I created this, 2 years ago and haven't touched it since, where it makes it look like maybe you're not even in business anymore. But whatever you decide to do on here, just make sure that you're directing them back to where you want them to go. So normally what this is, and maybe I'll just change it back while we're on here, is it directs them over to my Facebook group. Like I want people to end up in my Facebook group. So that's what I direct them towards, and it has this little button here to visit group. So just use this strategically, and you can see there's a description in here when you click on it that tells more about it, but use this stuff strategically to send them where you want them to go. That's really the purpose of my business page. And then I repurpose content from other places so that there's always something there, and I'm not getting that, oh, are they even in business anymore type feeling on my page. And you can see I only have 302 people who like it. Like, it doesn't it doesn't really matter that much at this point in my business. That's not something I'm going to focus on. And once you start running ads more, you'll naturally get more likes. That's not something that I'm ever going to like spend time or money trying to get, is more page likes, because I just don't care that much and it doesn't help me that much. So reuse the crap out of other content there and then use it to direct them where you want them to go. So that's what these talk about. A really cool tool, I have tools for each one that can help you too. So a really cool tool, I actually haven't set this up yet. This is on my to-do list. I learned this from one of my masterminds that I was in a couple of months ago, is recur post. And it's really, really cool. It lets you just take up to like 100 different social media posts and put them in a queue, and it'll post up to 10 times a day. So like every time I make a really good post in my Facebook group, or a really good post on Instagram, or I write an email to my list and I turn it into a post, I can just add it into this queue here, and I can have up to 100 things that will just automatically keep posting on my business page however often I want them to, up to 10 times a day. I probably would only do like once a day, but that's 100 days right there of posts that it will just automatically cycle through, and it will keep cycling through those same 100 also. So like if right now, if I only have like 20 posts that I want to put in there, I can go ahead and start it. It'll do it for 20 days. And then once it's out, it'll just keep posting it, like recur posts, right? So it's a really cool way to just have that content on there without you having to put any energy or work into it at all. So I really, really like this one. This is like one of the next things up on my to-do list, is to gather up all of my posts and get them in there. So next one is having your own Facebook group. So there's pros and cons to everything here. The key with having your own Facebook group is you have to have a plan. Like, you can't just open a Facebook group and go into it blind. Like, you need to figure out like what you're going to do, why you're going to do it, how you want people to engage with you, how you want to show up. So you guys can use my Facebook group as an example, but like I do Thirsty Thursday and I do Spotlight Sunday, which Thirsty Thursday are the weekly training videos that I do. They're just like Q&A calls. I have a different theme every week, and it's just like pure value. If I'm selling something, I might talk about it at the end. Most of the time though, Thirsty Thursday is just like pure value Q&A calls about a specific topic. And then Spotlight Sunday is one of my favorite freaking things. That's where I let anybody that's in my community come in and share their business with the whole rest of the group. So that's something that's really cool and different from what every other group out there does. But really just figuring out what you want, what's the purpose of your group? What do you want the community to really be like? And what do you want people to get out of it? And coming up with different ways that you can do that. So lots of groups have like weekly theme days. Like on Monday we do whatever. I know Christy's group, she does Tarot Tuesday, and it doesn't really matter what it is, as long as there's some kind of plan and schedule, and it sets up the expectation for how you're going to run it, and lets people know what to expect from you. So it's really, really, really important. If you're not ready to dedicate the time here, don't do it yet. That's my recommendation. Like, I love my Facebook group. You guys know this. That's where I put most of my time and energy. But if you're not ready to dedicate that time and energy and be willing to build it and get to the point where you get good engagement, stick with it, then this is probably not the strategy for you. Once you get there, it's totally freaking awesome. And you don't have to have 10,000 people. I think I only have like 650 people in my group right now. But that's still one of my favorite places to be. Like, really just make sure you're ready to dedicate that time and energy before you decide to go this route. But once you do, it's totally awesome. This is my favorite way. This is my favorite social media platform. Then these are just some random things. Like, name it something that makes sense. Don't call it like something totally weird that no one's going to understand unless they like already work with you. And I see that like sometimes people will name it like their business name or like their program name or something like that. That's not really clear who it's for and what it is. So mine is Brand Boldly for Service-Based Entrepreneurs. Like, It's not like the super sexy, catchy thing that some groups are, but it is very, very clear what the purpose of the group is and who it's for. And just think about like when random groups pop up in your sidebar and Facebook is recommending places to go, or somebody's talking about hey, I have a group, do you want to join? Like, don't make people ask, what's it about? What are you doing there? I wonder what that is. Don't even give them the option of wondering what it is. Make it really, really clear what it is. And the same thing with your description too. So you guys, again, look at my description, or look at other groups that you're in that you like, and you can see the kind of content you put in there. But really, this is the absolute first impression of what it is. So you want to make it as clear and specific as you can, and also make sure that they know it's the place for them, and make it exciting. So it's like, you want to be here, you want to hang out here. That's another thing with the description that I didn't really mention in this text here, but I think it is really important to have rules and boundaries, and I'll talk about those more in, number 4 here. But make sure there's something in the description that makes it sound fun and exciting, because I do see a lot of groups where it's like, hey, this is my group, Brand Boldly, whatever. Here are all the rules, join us. And it almost is like, it sounds super negative, and it makes it not seem like a place you want to be, right? So absolutely put the rules in there. You got to have rules and boundaries, but make sure your description is really setting the tone for the vibe of the community that you have, and get people excited to be in there. Like, you want people to want to be in there. So it's really, really important. This is just a random tip I've learned to this event section. Like, when I go live, I create an event for it. Not everybody does this. You obviously don't have to do this, but it does notify people more. And it's just more opportunities for me to pop up in their notifications and say, Brooke Lawson is going live in the Brand Boldly group Thursday at 6 p.m., whatever it is. The more opportunities that I have to pop up in people's notifications, the better. Some people think that that's annoying. I personally don't think that's annoying. When I get notifications from other people, that's like a personal preference thing. Some people like it, some people don't. But at the end of the day, I would never not work with someone because they're inviting me to a free event of something that's really valuable. Now, if I'm doing it every single day and it's crap content, then I would think it was annoying. So just use common sense here. Don't spam people, but make sure you're doing things that are really, really good content that they will really care about, and then make an event for it for when you're going to go live. This is obviously for if you're going to go live in your group. That's what works best. Okay, the rules and boundaries. So you can see pretty much if you're in any Facebook groups, which I'm sure we all are, they all have rules. Rules are really, really important for keeping the vibe and keeping it not spammy and whatever, however you want it to be. Just, you get to decide what the rules are. Most groups now are you can't promote things, you can't pitch in their groups. Most of them are. There are a few that you can. Mine you can, but you do have to follow very specific rules. You can't just go post a pitch in there. You have to make a video, and I have my own rules about it. So just don't be afraid to be creative. I've never seen any group that has the same rules as I do about promoting. If I am all about you promoting in my group, I want you to share your things, but you're going to do it in a strategic and intentional way. You're not just going to dump a post in there and run off. I want to know that you've put thought into it. So you have to say what the offer is, who it's for, give us a link, and how it's going to benefit you. If you do that, you can promote all day, every day in my group. So be creative. Come up with your own rules. You can do whatever you want. And then same thing with boundaries too. I've kind of gotten to the point I'm about to change my boundaries in my group, because I do these Thirsty Thursday Q&A videos, and they're totally awesome. I love doing them, and I love answering questions live. But it's gotten to the point where people go watch the replays and ask questions on the replays, and it's sucking my energy. I'm not excited to go back and answer questions on the replays. So now it's to the point where I'm going to change my boundaries here, and I'm going to say I will answer literally any question that you have, as long as you're on live. If you're not on live, sorry. And I'll give people the opportunity to post questions beforehand and stuff if they can't make it. But really figuring out what your boundaries are, so that this doesn't turn into something that's a drain on your energy and something that you don't want to do. I want my Facebook group to be fun, and I want to be excited to go in there and hang out, not feel like it's something that, oh, I have to go live today, or oh, I have to go answer questions today. I don't want that feeling around it at all. So just make sure that it's set up in a way that's not going to drain your energy and you're going to be excited about it. So tools that I use for my group. Group funnels is so, so, so cool. So what this is, I wonder if I have anybody that's waiting to get into my group right now. Group funnels, what it is it lets you utilize those questions that you have in a more strategic way. So like you can set up these questions that people have to ask when they join your group. Hopefully you all know what I'm talking about. I ask them, what is their business? What are they super excited about? And I ask them, what is their definition of branding? What does it mean for them? And then I say, if you want a freebie, I give them my brand glossary, my brandasery as a freebie if they give me their email address. So those are really, really awesome. Like, not only do I get their email address and add them to my email list, but it's also amazing market research, right? I want to keep those answers to what is that branding question. Well, normally in a Facebook group, when you do that, you have to like take a screenshot or copy and paste all of the answers because Facebook doesn't save the answers to those. So what Group Funnels does is you install it and you tie it. This box right here pops up and you tie your requests into this spreadsheet that you create, and they have all kinds of tutorials. It's this add-on right here. You can see it in my bar up here. You set it all up and it basically adds everyone's answers to a Google spreadsheet so that you have everything there. So it's super, super awesome, again, to keep those answers for market research. I also now, I have a record of people who have opted into my email list. That's a big thing too, because technically, GDPR stuff and spam laws, all that stuff, you can't add people to your email list without their permission, right? And Facebook is just not set up to integrate that way yet. So this lets them, this lets you have a record of, they said yes, I have a record of their email address when they said yes and what they were opting into, so that I have those records. So you can see, I'll do this. Please don't share this person's email address with anyone. I'm showing it to you just to show you how it works. And I'll just show you like a random side thing here that I do too. Once people opt in, this is a VA task right here. Right now, you guys know this, I've told you this before, I'm still struggling to find a VA that I like. But basically what I do is I copy this email address, I go over here, I see if they're already on my email list. If they are, they'll pop up. And so I'm OCD and I want everybody to have all the information if it's there. So I do this, and then I've created an automation sequence based on if they join my list right here, Facebook group. Okay, now it's automatically going to send her her welcome email that has her freebie in it. It's all I got to do is click on that. This was a random person who was not already on my email list, I would just have to add her in. So this is 100% a VA task, but this Group Funnels does make it so much easier. So now when I hit approve and she's in, if I go look at this spreadsheet in my Google spreadsheet here, all of that information is saved there. So Group Funnels is really, really, really cool. ManyChat is the other one that I use. So that's the little chat bot deal, so that when I go live, I give people an opportunity to opt in to this little chat bot, and then I send them reminders like 5 minutes before I go live. So you can see these are all the reminders I have scheduled. I sent this one before the last Thursday. It's just, I'm going live in 5 minutes. This is the topic. Click here to join us. Not only is this helpful, like it gets more people on your videos live, it gets reminders, it's keeping you top of mind, and they're seeing your name pop up in their messenger. Again, even if they don't come live, they still they still want to stay subscribed, or they unsubscribe, right? So this is also really helpful. I have 193 people subscribed to this. So I know too, like when I'm selling something or when I'm promoting something, I can go look at the stats of the audience and like who actually opened these and who opens them consistently. It tells me who my warm leads are too. So you can use all of this stuff strategically. Yes, it's made to send messages. Take advantage of all of these stats though. Like, you can see a 64% open rate. That's way higher than any emails, right? Like that's way more than email. So just like use this data, use these analytics. You guys know I'm a huge numbers dork, but this has been really, really helpful too. Just again, to get people onto your videos live, more people show up. And this is the free version. They do have a paid version. This is the free version. So I just use it for notifying for Thirsty Thursday and Spotlight Sunday. I have a little opt-in that says if you want to get notified when I go live, click here. That's all they have to do. And then I also have it for if I do a webinar or any kind of training like that, that'll be on like the thank you page for that too. So ManyChat's super cool. Again, I have the free version. Free right here. So I think I talked about this a little bit more in that automation mini course too, but it's awesome for my Facebook group. So next up is other people's Facebook groups. I'll tell you guys right now, I don't really participate in other people's Facebook groups anymore. I did at first. This was something I definitely did at first. So I want to go through the stuff that I learned. Now I am still in people's Facebook groups, and I love to go in and like use them for market research, like we talked about last week, or on the Ideal Client Week. Sorry. But I also just love like answering questions and engaging with people, but I don't ever actually post anything anymore. But I did. So I'm kind of have both sides of it now. So I really want to go through this because there are some really important things to talk about in terms of other people's Facebook group. This number one being like the gold standard here. Please, please, please respect other people's rules. Like if it tells you not to pitch in there, don't pitch in there. And I know all of you well enough now. I really don't think any of us in this group would actually be doing that. But I think sometimes like we just don't know. Like be really intentional with reading the rules. Make sure you know the rules before you just go post in there. A lot of times people will be nice about it and like give you a warning and say, hey, you're not supposed to do that. The bigger groups, they ain't got time for that. They'll just kick your ass out. So be really sure that you are actually reading the rules before you just go posting in other people's groups, and make sure you're not breaking them, because I don't want you to get kicked out. And don't try to again, I don't think anybody in here would do it, but don't try to sneak it in either and just vaguely talk about it or say, send me a message or blah, blah, blah. Just be straightforward, be completely transparent, and really use other people's groups for, again, building connections and starting conversations and building those relationships. If you're talking about interesting things and you're talking about cool things, people will click on your name and they'll go figure out how to join your group or join your list or follow you. If people want to, and I'm going to talk about that on the next page too, but if people want to learn more from you, they will figure out how to learn more from you. So don't it's totally okay to not pitch things in other people's Facebook groups. Use it to build relationships, and please, please, please don't break the rules. The next thing is you don't need to be in 87 different Facebook groups and post in them all the time. Pick a handful of groups that you really like and focus on those. This is one of my favorite things. Sarah Dan is the one that I work with that says this all the time. Scattered efforts lead to scattered results. Pick the groups that you really like their vibe, and your ideal clients are in there, and that you're bringing value to the conversation in there, and focus on those. Build relationships in there. Same thing here, this engagement one. It's the same thing I've been saying the whole time, but don't just post something and then leave and never come back and never talk to anyone else or never respond to comments if you get them on your post. Don't post and run. Aside from you'll look rude, it also just won't work. So engage with other people. If you're going to be posting consistently in someone else's group, make sure you're commenting on other people's stuff so that people learn who you are and learn your name and recognize your name when it comes up and when you post things. And then repurpose. So I don't do anything now. I just told you that. But when I did this, I did never create brand new posts for other people's Facebook groups. That just didn't seem like a good use of my time. I repurposed stuff from my emails or stuff that I put in my group and put it there. That being said, though, That does not mean to take the same post and put it in all 5 groups at the exact same time. That will get flagged spammy. And keep in mind, a lot of people are in a lot of the same groups as you are, right? So I know, like, I have certain people that I'm friends with on Facebook that are in like 6 of the same groups as me, and I can see it in my notifications because we're friends. It's like, so-and-so just posted this post to group 1, group 2, group 3, group 4, and it's the exact same thing in every single one. So that looks spammy. That's very clear that there was no thought behind this. This was just I'm going to post it and I'm going to run. So don't do that. Be strategic about it, and I'm going to show you how I did that so that I wasn't looking or feeling spammy about it. But still, you can still repurpose it. Just be intentional and make sure that like the content fits the group too. So I'm kind of in this weird zone where I'm in, groups for coaching and stuff. I'm also in a lot of like freelancer groups for graphic designers and photographers and stuff like that. So my content doesn't always overlap. So I want to make sure that I'm not posting stuff about graphic design tips in the coaching group. And I think a lot of us, are in different groups and we help with different things. So just make sure that you're that you're making it relevant to the group that you're in before you just go throwing posts up. So the way that I did this, though, that I stayed consistent, is I ended up just doing calendar reminders, and I'll show you the calendar. Before I did calendar reminders, I had it all in Asana, like super organized in Asana. You can use like Trello or Airtable or any of the project management stuff will work. I love Asana. Asana is my favorite. But I set up little calendars in there with notifications, and I tracked like when I was posting in certain groups and when I'll completely dork OCD on it. And it was really helpful data, but I ended up like getting burnout doing that. So what I ended up doing was just using calendar reminders, and here's what it looked like. I posted in, looks like 2 groups a day. You can see this is a long time ago. Like Taylor doesn't even have her group anymore, but you can see this, these different groups. I think there's like 4 or 5 different ones, and I've kind of strategically like cycled them through. So I'm only posting in this group, a couple times a week. I think I posted in each one 3 times a week. You guys, like, you could totally screenshot this and just plug in the group that you're doing. But what you can do is, and I'll go into my content creation calendar here at the end, but basically what I do is I write at least 2 emails a week, and then I go live in my group twice a week. And I use that content and break it up into social media posts. So I'll pull out pieces of the email, and then I'll transcribe parts of the video, or just like pull out the important lines of the video and make social media posts about it. And that's what I use for my social media posts. So, on Sunday at the beginning of the week, I could just go in here and copy and paste whatever the post is going to be, post content here, and have it repeat. This says every 4 weeks. I'm not sure why, but I just have this repeat every week. So it is the same every week. And then it alerts me at 9 a.m. whenever I want to post this. It'll pop up. I can attach a picture if I want, and it would like pop up on my phone and say, hey, go post in Fully Free with Taylor Manning. And I literally just copy and paste it, open Taylor's group, and hit post. And then once I did that, I would hang out in there for 5 or 10 minutes and look at other posts and like stuff and comment on stuff while I was in there, and then make sure to like pay attention. If other people are commenting on your thing, go back and talk to them. Like, don't just post it and run. But this made it like really, really easy for me to keep up with what I was doing, not be spammy and posting the same stuff in different groups all the time. Like, make sure the posts are spread out. That doesn't mean you have to have 14 different posts, but just make sure that you're not posting the same thing in the same group more than once, or right next to each other, if that makes sense. Like, these would be different posts and these would be different posts. So just like, this is like a really dorky analytical way of doing this, and it does not need to be this complicated or detailed. This is just how my brain works. But really just have some kind of, logic behind what you're doing, and don't just like post randomly without paying attention to when and where you're doing it is really the goal here. Like, use your common sense and don't be a spammy weirdo. Like, go talk to people and use your common sense when you're posting things, and follow the rules for the love of macaroni and cheese. Like, please don't break other people's rules. Okay, Facebook personal profile. This one isn't super like complicated, but the reason I bring it up at all is because when you do post in other people's groups, if that's one of your main strategies, then this is going to be especially important for you. Because when you go post in other people's groups, that's what they know about you. All they know about you is your name. When they click on your name, they go back to your personal profile, not your business page. So you want to make it really, really easy for them to find out more information if that's happening. So when I do post in other people's groups, or like even comments, they're going to land right here if they click on my name on my personal profile. So I made it so freaking easy for them to figure out who I am, what I'm about, and how they get more information. So take advantage of this bio area right here. You're limited on characters, so use it very wisely. Take advantage of your cover photo. Make sure like it's really clear what you want them to do. You can put descriptions on here too. And then you get this featured photo too. And Facebook just changed their layout. I'm sure you guys have seen all the Facebook updates. It used to show up down here, your website. So you can see I need to move this. I need to reformat this picture because it's not pointing to anything now. But I want them to join my group. So, and then you can choose which information is public and which isn't in your privacy settings. So if you're worried about, everybody seeing certain things, like this is all, you can see this is all I'm showing right here. And this goes to my business page. So you just be really strategic. Do not make it hard for people to find the information that they're looking for. If they clicked on your name because they're like, wow, this chick is totally awesome, I want to be friends with her, I want to learn more about her, and then they go click on your profile and they can't find anything because everything's locked down, then like it's pointless for you to be in that group, right? So just make sure it's really easy for them to get information. This one's really important too. Make your picture you. Like, make your picture you, please. Like, not only does it look super cheesy when you have, the goofy Snapchat filter with the giant eyeballs and the sparkles floating out of your head, but it's also like, I don't know, it's just really, really unprofessional in my opinion. And you might disagree, and that's totally okay. You don't have to agree with everything I say, but if you're focusing in business groups and you're like trying to get people to give you money, you want to show up like a business owner. And you guys know I'm all about personality, and I'm not saying you need to like have super professional headshots or anything like that, but you do need to like not be a Snapchat filter with a unicorn horn, okay? Or your cat. Like, people want to know you're an actual human, and you can show all your personality and let them get to know you. You can see I have like my goofy little sassy pictures here, but just make sure that you're showing up like an actual human. And they like it just feels spammy when there's not a person in your picture, and it feels unprofessional on the to the extreme when you're a unicorn horn with glitter. So be aware of that. Use your best judgment. Like, if you feel like it's just so on brand for you to have glitter shooting out of your ears, then go for it, but use caution, please. And then I already talked about these, like utilize your pictures and your bio and stuff like that. The main thing that people are worried about on Facebook, understandably, is that you don't want certain people to see certain things. Like, you don't want to annoy your friends and family with business posts, or you don't want your business friends to see, pictures of your kids or your sick grandma or whatever it is. Create friends lists. So if I put the link right there, so it'll go straight to here when you click on it. This is how you set up friends lists. If you don't click on it, it's just over here in this explore deal, and then friends list. So you can make as many as you want. So you can see I have real life people, I have police people, because I don't want to talk about police stuff and business stuff. That's really one of my only boundaries online. Like, I have zero tolerance or patience for people shit talking police, so I just don't talk about police stuff, because I'm just not available for that kind of drama in my life. So if I do talk about police stuff, I make sure only police people can see it. And then real life people, this is like high school friends and my grandma and everybody like that. So the next thing on here is the privacy settings. So you can change like when you post things, like your future posts. I have it set up default so that whatever I post by default, all of my friends can see it except my real life people, because I really use this mostly for business. So you can see like when I go here and I'm going to post something online, the default here is this friends except my real life people. Show it to everyone except my high school friends and my grandma. Or you can show it to only your friends and that's all of your friends, or you can make it on Facebook where anyone and everyone can see it. But you do get all of these options. So it might take a little time to like get this set up and get people into a list. But if you're worried about it, then this is your answer. Like once it's set up, it's so easy. And out of all of these, however many 891 friends I have, I think there's only like 112 people in my real life list. Everybody else did come from like other people's Facebook groups, and most of my friends on there are from other people's Facebook groups and they are business related. So I don't want to miss out on that opportunity to post things that they can see on my profile. But I also don't want to have my grandma posting on there either. So like use your judgment here. A lot of people have it open up just completely public. And I do that sometimes, like depending on what it is, because sometimes I want my family and friends to know what I'm doing. Like if it's something really cool that I want to share with them, but like use this stuff. Okay. Like it's here. Don't let it hold you back from sharing things because you're worried about it. Like figure it out. If you're worried about it, figure out what's going to make you not worried about it and do it, because I don't want you to miss out on any opportunities because of that. So that's how to do it. Again, just click on those. It'll go straight to those pages as long as you're logged into your Facebook. Instagram. Okay. Instagram is the one that I get the most questions about because it's like the new cool place to be, right? Like this is the fun one. So I'm going to go through a couple of things to know based on the questions that I get and these tools here. You can see there's a lot more tools here. The first thing is hashtags. And the reason that's first is because the problem, not the problem, but the biggest question I get or the biggest struggle that people seem to have with Instagram is not getting their ideal clients as followers, but they're getting other people in their industry as followers. So like for me, I would be getting, other brand strategists or, other graphic designers, or I see it a lot in the health and fitness industry. Like they end up with other health coaches following them instead of their ideal clients. And most of the time, 99.99999% of the time, this comes down to hashtags. So instead of like picking hashtags that are your industry, like instead of putting hashtag health coach or hashtag health and fitness or whatever it is, put things that your ideal client would actually be searching for on Instagram. Hashtags are like searchable and people follow them because they want to see content. So really go back to your ideal client spreadsheet or your week 4 homework that we did, and that maybe I need to add that in the ideal client thing, like what hashtags would they follow. But most of the time, like if I'm struggling here thinking about ways that I could lose weight, like if we go with the health coach example, I'm probably not going to type in health coach and follow that hashtag on Instagram, because I know that it's just going to be full of people trying to sell me things, right? So I would probably put in like healthy recipes or keto stuff or whatever I think the new cool thing is that I need to be doing, even though it's probably wrong. Whatever, like really think about what your ideal client's actually going to put in there and go from hashtags that way. So really be strategic about what you're doing. That will solve 99% of your problems of getting competitors as followers instead of ideal clients. The next thing with Instagram is stories. Stories are so powerful. Oh my gosh, stories are so powerful. This is how people get to know the real you. Like it's so good at just cutting through the fake, perfect world Instagram crap and letting people get to know who you actually are, seeing you show up and talk and, seeing just the way that you are in real life builds trust and builds connections so fast. Stories are awesome. And it's a great segue into doing live video. Like if you're scared of doing videos, you're not ready to do live videos like in a Facebook group or whatever it is yet, stories are an amazing place to start. They're an amazing place to start because they're only there for 24 hours. Like if you screw it up and it's horrible, who cares? It's going to be gone in 24 hours. It's good practice, right? But I love stories. I love watching other people's stories. They're just like short little things, and you really, really get to know the person. So I would encourage everyone to play with these. Like once you're ready to, focus on Instagram and again, this comes back to whatever your strategy that you decide to go with is totally fine. Maybe you don't want to use Facebook at all. You only want to focus on Instagram. Totally cool. It doesn't matter which one or two or however many of these things you pick, as long as you're focusing your energy and you're not getting overwhelmed and you're not half-assing any of them. So I told you guys before, like I've been in Facebook world. I'm just now starting to focus on Instagram a little bit more because I feel like I have my Facebook routine down. I've mastered how I'm showing up there and I'm happy with it. Now it's time for me to add something else on. So keep that in mind too. But if you're starting with Instagram, definitely look at stories. And when you get to Instagram, definitely look at stories because they're so powerful. This one, short and sweet, but y'all, you got to show your face. I've said that to a few of us in this group, even like when we've looked at your Instagram profiles, like, please show us what you look like. Just because it's a business profile doesn't mean that people don't want to connect with you. Instagram especially, but just like all social media is all about that connection. If I don't know what you look like or who you are at all, it's going to be really hard to connect with you. So please show your face. And it doesn't mean you have to have like a professional photo shoot. If you do, that's awesome. I love my professional pictures. I just did new ones last week and I can't wait to get them back. But that doesn't mean you have to do that. Like get a little, not a selfie stick, but the ring light thing, and take some pictures just sitting at your desk, or have somebody take a couple pictures of you on your phone. They don't have to be super fancy, but it is really important to let people get to know you on that deeper level and build that connection. And they got to see your face to do it. Again, stories are even better. Let them hear your voice too, but at least show your face. And then this engagement one, again, I've said this on almost everything, but especially on Instagram, like it probably matters more on Instagram than anywhere else, like algorithm wise. You have to engage with other people. You have to talk to people. This goes for like commenting on other people's posts, responding to comments on your posts, engaging with people through direct message, like Messenger. So like responding to people's stories. You can like send them little emojis or comments on their stories. That helps. It tells Instagram that you are an engager and that you are good for their platform. So they help you by showing your stuff to more people because they want more people that engage, right? So this is really, really, really important here. So at the same time, you want to make sure you're giving your followers the opportunity to engage with you too, right? So make sure like when you are posting things, ask questions or, give them something to respond to. And this was, I struggled with this for a long time. I would just, take my emails that I had written, like I said, and transition them into posts, but really make sure you're thinking about it strategically, from an Instagram standpoint. I want people to comment on there. So I need to ask them a question or give them a prompt or give them something to respond to. Because you want like real actual engagement, not just you guys can't see me, my camera's not on, but like the little okay hand that I get all the time from those spammy robots on Instagram. Like, I don't want just one emoji as a comment. I want actual comments. So like ask for engagement, and you can do it in your stories too. Like talk in your stories and say, send me a message if blah, blah, blah. Or you can use the little polls in Instagram, or you can use, the boxes where you can let people ask you questions. Just really, really, really go into Instagram with an engagement mindset. You with other people, and then you asking people to engage with you, all of them. Okay. Everliker is like amazing. So I might have talked about this before. I can't remember. But Everliker is this little tool that it's this guy right here. And if you click that link, it'll go to how you install it for Chrome. But basically what Everliker does is you put in these hashtags that you like. So do your hashtag research first. You put in the hashtags that your ideal client would probably use. And what Everliker does is it goes in and it likes posts that have that hashtag. So sorry, I was reading as I said that sentence, so it sounded kind of weird probably, but basically it will like 700, up to 700 posts for you per day. And then if you get the paid version, it will do more. But this is totally free, the free plan. It will like 700 posts on Instagram a day that use these hashtags. So you can break it up however you want. Like if you only want to use one hashtag and have it like 700 posts with that hashtag, that's totally cool. You can do that. I picked 7 hashtags and I like 100 pictures per day with each one. So you want to, again, be really strategic about which hashtags you're using and make sure it's ones that your ideal client would use. And you can see like this one, it says it's suspended. So that hashtag, that means it ran out of things to like. So I probably need to change that one and pick one that is a bigger hashtag. But this is so cool. Like I get new likes on my stuff and I get new followers every single day, like a ton of followers a day for totally free. But yeah, probably like 10 to 15 for totally free just by having that. So just go in, like, and once you set it up, you're good too, right? Like I check it every once in a while for stuff like this and make sure they're still working. And then, every couple months I might go in and like change the hashtag to a new hashtag that I found that ideal clients really like. But it gets me targeted followers, not like spammy robot followers. It gets me actual people who found me because I liked their picture on whatever hashtag it was. So that one's really, really cool. Hashtag File Society is freaking amazing. So once you're ready to like actually focus money and energy here, I think this is like $35 a month for their minimum thing. So some of these too, you'll notice some of these are like affiliate links. This one is, if you click on it, it's going to be my affiliate link. But if you don't want to use my affiliate link, you can just highlight it and copy and paste it or Google it. Either way, but it doesn't cost you anything extra to use your affiliate link. But I just want to make sure you know that that's what it is, just so you know. But this basically what this does is it finds hashtags for you. So instead of you sitting around doing a ton of research to figure out what hashtags your ideal client uses, you can just join. This is Courtney. You can join. It's a membership site, and there's thousands of hashtags in there broken up by a bajillion different industries. So there's like the Boss Babe one, there's health and fitness ones. They're broken up by different categories like that. And you can make like different lists of hashtags for your posts. So this is seriously the most amazing thing ever. It has saved me so much freaking time and energy. Once you are ready to invest money in an Instagram strategy, I highly, highly, highly recommend that. And there's all kinds of other stuff that you get in there too. She has like stock photos. She has stock photos in there, and there's all kinds of trainings in there. There's like an Instagram masterclass that's part of it, like an Instagram course for just Instagram in general, not just hashtags. There's amazing things in there. So I really, really, really love this. That has saved me, again, so much time and energy. And I get more targeted followers and less spammy robots. Planoly is what I use to plan out my Instagram stuff. So there's all kinds of things that do this. There's, you can do it like with Buffer, and Plan is the one that Carla recommends. She's coming in next week to talk to. I know Carla uses Plan. I like Planoly because I like to do it on my computer. You can only do Plan on your phone, and I like to do things with my computer, so that's why I picked this one. But it lets you just schedule out your posts so that you don't have to think about it, and you can auto post them from there. You can auto post some stories. I think you can if it's like a photo but not a video, something like that. I'm not sure. I know all stories won't auto post, but I schedule all my stuff and then I have it auto post for the whole week. Usually I do it a week at a time. So Planoly is awesome. Lightroom presets. This, if you click it, it'll take you to the ones that I bought. Maybe not. No, it's just taking you straight to Etsy. Okay, I'll fix that link. But there's I just got them on Etsy. They're Lightroom filters so that your pictures can like have the same look and feel. This is totally not required at all. And you do obviously have to have Lightroom for this, which I think is like $10 a month. And they do have a free version too. But it's just so that your pictures have that like consistent feel, and they all look the same. And then Instagram collections. This is like one of my favorite things that I learned. This is one of my favorites. So I'm going to share actually my phone screen with you guys here for a second, and show you how Instagram collections work if you don't know what they are or haven't used them. So this is my phone. If you go into Instagram and go to your profile and then click the little hamburger menu at the top and go to saved, you can save posts. So if you look at this, I have all of these different collections. This is the one I want to show you guys though. So reposts. Anytime like I'm scrolling through Facebook, or I'm sorry, scrolling through Instagram, just like in my regular feed, and I see something that's like, ooh, that's awesome, I want to repost that later. All you have to do is save it into a collection like that, and it'll be ready to repost later. So I like this little heart picture right here. So I want to save it, save to collection, and I want to put it in my reposts right there. So now when I go back over here and then go to reposts, there it is. There's that little heart. And so those days when I'm like, I don't know what to say, I'm out of things to talk about, I can go back and I can repost something from someone else. I use these a lot too. You'll see the quotes in here. And I don't necessarily repost them exactly as they are. I just like the content. So I'll remake them in my template right here for the quotes. So just ideas. Content ideas are amazing to save into here. And, obviously these are just like all my random ones. You can see I have totally random things in here. But just make a collection that's reposts, and then you can save them. This saved my butt. It was so freaking cool when I learned this. So hopefully that's helpful for you guys. And yeah, so that's Instagram. Pinterest. I'm not going to spend too much time talking about Pinterest right now because there's a whole section on Pinterest in that automation mini course. So you can learn exactly what I do on my Pinterest with Tailwind in the mini course. Basically, my strategy for Pinterest is to put a whole bunch of stuff in there and then not touch it for 4 months at a time. And it is by far the biggest generator of traffic to my website, far and away. Most people that I have worked with in the course of my business have found me from Pinterest. So basically what I do is when I make a blog post to put on my website for all of my content. So if I write a letter or an email to my list, after I send it, I turn it into a blog post and put it on my blog. Or if I do a Thirsty Thursday video in my group, I pull it down and then put it up on my blog also, so that I have all of my content is on my blog. Then once it's there, then I put it on Pinterest. Then I make pins for each blog post and then put them on Pinterest. So I like to do 3. I would definitely do more than 1 pin per blog post and just up your chances of people seeing them. But this is the simplest strategy and it doesn't really require that much more work than you're already doing. Just take your content you've already created, slap it up on your blog, and make 3 pins. Go into Canva or whatever you want to use. I use Photoshop or InDesign, but make your 3 pins, pop them up on Pinterest, and it's such an easy way to generate traffic and get more eyeballs on your website, because Pinterest is a huge search engine. So take advantage of this one. I know I said pick one thing. Pinterest though, Pinterest should not be a primary direct all of your energy here anyway. You don't need to direct that much energy there. Maybe at first when you're getting it set up and getting your system set up, but after that, my Pinterest pretty much runs itself. So that's basically how I do it. I love it when you have a board on your Pinterest that's just for your pins, stuff from your blog. It lets, my ideal Pinterest follower get to know me really fast and get to see all the kinds of content that I share and find it all in one place. Um, and then hide boards that aren't relevant to your business. I think this one's kind of important. If you have had your Pinterest account forever and then you just turned it into a business account instead, just make sure that you don't have anything that's not relevant. Like, I think it's totally cool to have like a joke board or, something that shows your personality. I have like a quotes one, I have a dream office one, and like stuff like that. I think it's totally cool stuff that shows your personality. But what you don't want is something that's like completely off brand. Like for me as a brand strategist, I'm not going to have like my yoga clothes that I want is one of my Pinterest boards. I'm not going to have that on my business Pinterest page. I just have them as secret boards. So I have like my recipes and my stuff that I search Pinterest for. I have them as secret boards. So just make sure that everything that's showing up is on brand. And then just knowing that Pinterest is not like an overnight thing. It's not like you're going to pop up all these pins and you're going to have all this traffic on your website the next day. That's just not how Pinterest works. It takes time for it to like build momentum. So just know that going in. But like once it does, it's totally awesome. But know that going in, in my opinion, there's really no downside to doing Pinterest. The time that you'll spend up front getting it set up is more than worth it. It's more than worth it. And then Tailwind like just basically pins things for you all the time. You set up your queue and it will consistently pin your pins and other people's pins. So I'm not going to go too far into it, but go in that automate and save mini course. And there's a tutorial for exactly how I do everything in there. If you're going to pay for something, I would pay for this. I think it's like $10 a month. I freaking love Tailwind. It has saved my butt. And then the last one I want to talk about is YouTube. Before I dig too far into YouTube, this is not for like a YouTuber. Like if my primary business model is creating YouTube videos, that's not what this is about. Those are completely different strategies. This is how I use YouTube and how most people in my online business industry that are selling services, this is how most of us sell YouTube, or use YouTube. So that being said, I think it's really important for you to understand your goal with it, but also for you to communicate what your goal with your YouTube account is. So what that means is like tell people how you use it. And when I use when I have videos on YouTube, my header bar and my descriptions on my videos, stuff like that, I tell people like these videos are from my Facebook group. I did this as I do Thirsty Thursday and Spotlight Sunday in my Facebook group. If you want to participate live and ask questions, come hang out in my group. That's where you get the live stuff. The stuff on YouTube is there for, it's kind of like Pinterest. It's there like if people search for me there and find me there, there's stuff there. And I need to have a place to host them anyway. So I just put them up and I give them the information they need for how to follow me in the best way or find me in the place that I want them to find me, which is my Facebook group, right? The next thing on YouTube is make it easy for people to find information. Like don't just bulk upload and dump all your videos on there and have a hodgepodge of stuff because it's disorganized and people can't find anything, right? So take advantage of like the playlists and things. Let me just pull up my YouTube here. I got a bunch of crap open now. Let's go YouTube. But like take advantage of the playlists. Oh, I'm going to open an incognito window because it's going to show you my my stuff that's not public. So you can see my header bar here is like join my Facebook group for live trainings. This is where I want you to be. This is where I want you to hang out. But the stuff is here too. So you can see I have Spotlight Sunday, Thirsty Thursday, and then random media things that I've done. You can see there's not crap in there right now. But really just making it really easy to find information. Also taking advantage of this about section too. Like give them links to where you want them to be. And then if you look at one of these Thirsty Thursday videos, we're not going to watch the video, obviously. Dang, my hair's purple there. Oh, that's a bad example because I haven't finished that one yet. Sorry, guys. Let's find. Why is this not working? Obviously, I don't use YouTube a lot. Let's find one of these old ones. Okay. Here we go. So you can see, like, in the description here, like, I pulled this description. It's the exact same one that I put in my Facebook group when I talked about the video. This right here. So when I promoted the video, I put that in there, and then I put a note in every single one. This was recorded live in my Facebook group. Join the group to participate live. I have an About Me section in all of them, and then I have information for how to follow me. So, like, this right here down is the same in every video that I have on YouTube, because I want to direct them back to where I want them to go. And then this is like keyword stuff. So that's the next thing I wanted to talk about here. Like, keywords are important on YouTube. If you do want people to find your videos on YouTube, if that's a strategy that you're using as lead generation, then keywords are important. They do matter. And when you upload your video, you have the opportunity to put in keywords. And then you can see down here, I put other things you might have searched for, just to get more stuff in there that way too. But YouTube is the second biggest search engine in the world. Like, Google's the first, then YouTube. So there's so much content on there. You have to be really, really strategic about, like, what you're naming things and how you're tagging things if you want people to find it. So the same thing kind of goes for your like your video names too. Goodness, why does that keep doing that? So you can see over here on this playlist, like, make sure you're naming your videos what they actually are, instead of just, like, I wouldn't want to just call this Thirsty Thursday May 31st, or I guess May 30th would have been Thirsty Thursday. Make sure the name is like what it actually is, and just kind of think through that stuff before you just dump everything on there. Think about, like, long-term goals and how you're going to use these platforms. So this last tool I use is Temi. I have all of my videos transcribed. Well, I will long-term. I've started the process. I'm only about a quarter of the way done. Temi is the one that I've been using. It's the cheapest one that I found. I think it's like 10 cents a minute. It's not the most accurate thing. You do have to go back and, like, double check that they're correct. But this has helped video views so much. And I'll give you guys an example of how I do this stuff. Basically, I do my Thirsty Thursday video. I download it off of YouTube. I send it into Temi to have it transcribed. I check the transcription, and then I download the stuff. And then when I put it on my blog, like we've been talking about, I put the stuff on my blog, and I put the transcription on there too. Let's find a Thirsty Thursday one. So you can see I got the description. I have the same thing here. Note, this was from my Facebook group. Come hang out there if you want to watch live stuff. I have the video embedded, and then I have this on all of them. Not a video person, read the transcription. And I just copy and paste the transcription in there. Some people just like to read. Not everybody wants to look at videos, right? Some people just want to read. And then it's on here. This also helps me with, like, SEO stuff too. So ranking in Google, the more pages that you have on your website and the more content that you have, the higher you rank in Google. Like, Google's a numbers game. So again, that's not where I focus all of my energy. That's not my main strategy, is to come up on top of Google. But I also am going to do whatever I can to help it when it doesn't, like, suck a bunch of my time and energy. So I download the transcription from Temi, I copy and paste it in here, and then I go into my YouTube settings and I add the subtitles to the video too. So you can see they're just down here. It's the exact same thing. It's not any more work. It's a file upload. And then once you're on Facebook, you can go back into Facebook. Oops, wrong group. You go back into Facebook, find that video. Which one was that? How to overcome burnout. I don't know which one that is. Let's go with this one just in case. I don't know what it is. Anyway, once you're back in here, you can edit the video and then upload subtitles right here, SRT. That's what you download out of Temi. And then they're on the video too, so that when people watch the replay, the subtitles will also show up right here. Super, super cool. And then, again, take it that step further. I can download it out of here. I can put it in that recur post thing, and I can I'll put it in that recur post thing and have them cycle through on my business page too, the ones that I really like that are really good. So you can do all kinds of different stuff with this content after it's created. Now, all of this stuff, like, I really, really recommend having a VA to help with all this stuff. Like I said, this is kind of all on pause for me at the moment because this is not my priority until I can get a VA to do this stuff for me. But this is like super, super simple, easy stuff you can do to just repurpose the crap out of your content and get even more people to see your stuff without actually creating a ton more stuff. So use the stuff to your advantage. Use it, use it, use it. So then homework here, decide what you want, decide where you want to focus and why you want to focus there. So if it's a Facebook group, cool. If it's something else, Instagram, cool. If it's, you're not going to have a group, but you want to focus on Instagram and just repurpose stuff on your business page, cool. But really make sure that you've thought through where you're going to focus and why you're going to focus there, and that you actually want to be there. It's something you want to do. That's the key part. Like, you're not going to get burnt out in 2 weeks because you hate showing up there. Social media should be fun. It should be about engagement and connection and, getting to know your audience and other people. So make sure that you're enjoying what you're doing. And the second part, like, figure out what you're going to do for your content. Like, give yourself some kind of, minimum marketing commitment. Like, how and where are you going to show up, and what are you going to do? I don't know why this link isn't working right here, but inside the membership site, we have awesome resources for this already. We have Petra's social media calendar that she shared with us. That's totally freaking awesome. Let's go to our membership site real quick. We have right here Petra's social media calendar that she shared. It's really, really, really detailed and comprehensive because Petra's awesome. So, like, you're going to write your newsletter and you're going to turn it into a blog post, and then you can share it Monday through Friday or wherever you want, whatever you want to do. This is, Petra's example here, but really decide what your minimum content is, and really commit, like, pick whatever consistent looks like for you and challenge yourself to freaking do it. We also have Amber's thing she gave us. So this guy here, this content calendar, that's like 365 days of story prompts. You should not have any excuses for, I don't know what to talk about with that. Like, Amber's given us so much stuff to, like, spark ideas for content. So I do not want to hear, like, I don't know what to say, I don't know what to talk about. You have this, you have personal stories. We've already gone through our offer. Like, we talked last week, close your eyes and point to that first page of the offer thing, and you'll have something to talk about. So we've cleared up those excuses. Now it's like, let's commit, let's figure out how we want to show up, and let's challenge ourselves to really do it. So again, there's not any rules here. I'm not going to say you have to post this many times a week on this platform, because it's totally up to you. But you get out what you put into it, and make sure that, you are showing up based on your actual goals. And you're not, saying that you want to get a whole bunch of new clients from social media and then showing up once a week and not actually offering anything. So really be intentional with this plan and decide what's going to be realistic for you, and what's going to feel good and not overwhelm you and make you feel burnt out. And what's going to feel fun. So here's the example. I kind of already went over this already. Here's what I do. This is my minimum marketing commitment. So this is what I try to do every week. 2 emails and 2 live videos is really my marketing commitment every week. And then I use that content to just break it up into the social media posts. And then I try to do daily stories. So that's the only thing that I commit to, or I try to commit to every day, is just showing up on stories. And then anytime anything else comes up, if I'm feeling like really inspired to talk about something and I want to go live extra or write an extra email, that's totally cool. You can do that. But really, give yourself a goal and challenge yourself to hold yourself accountable to this stuff and show up consistently and give value to your audience. So I'm really, really excited to see what you guys come up with and what platforms you decide to use. Hopefully this was helpful. I know there's a ton of information here. This is a really long video. So hopefully, though, this has been really helpful and just helping you pick where you want to focus, and then hearing the way that I do it, I think is really helpful too. But at the end of the day, again, there are no rules. You can do this stuff however you want to do it. It really doesn't matter what you pick. As long as you commit to it and you show up, you will get results. So super excited to hear how it all goes, and I can't wait for the Q&A this week.